All right, boys, here we go. It is time to look at the new fantasy cards and which ones are the best ones to go after. Obviously, this is going to come down to who do you think the goal scorer on their team is and who is going to win the second round and go into the third round, giving you more games. So let's get into it, guys. I hope you do enjoy it. If you do, give it a big old thumbs up. But fantasy cards, who are the better ones? First, we're going to start with the PWHL. And this one is a risk to me because none of the players selected have a lot of goals in 30 games. And with the PWHL, the playoffs are best of 5. So there's a chance that these 5 teams don't play a lot of games, or 4 teams don't play a lot of games. I know 2 of them will be going on. But if you take, for instance, the Ottawa player and they get beat out in 3, they don't get a lot of games to score. So the PWHL is a risk. But the betting odds and the betting favorite have Montreal winning in 4 and Toronto winning in 5. So if you wanted to take one, maybe the Toronto Scepters because they'll get an extra game. But like I said, none of these players score a lot of goals, so they are going to be a risk. Now, just in general, who the best one is out of the 4, 93 is a really hard one to crack on your team with how progression's been going this late in the year. It's been really ramping up. And then the height of these cards is really bad as well. Catherine does have 95 speed at 5'10", which is usable, and her shooting is phenomenal. But will Montreal make it go 5, or are they going to beat them out in 4? Maybe they beat them out in 3, and she doesn't get many games. We'll have to wait and see. She doesn't score a lot, so this one's a risk. Dark Angelo is not bad. Her name, of course. I love the name, but they have Montreal walking all over this team, so I don't know if this would be a safe pick. But the best card, in my opinion, has to be Kava. Even though she's not going to get out through the first round, she has 95 speed, and she has the upside of scoring the most, as she is the only one that got in the top 15 for scoring. So there is a chance that she pops them home for her team if they get some goals against Toronto. And this one's set to go 5, so maybe she'd be the best option to go, but they're all very risky. Now, as for the NHL Lads, there's 8 of them. You're set to be right on 50% of them, as 50% of them will go through to the third round. Now, who is that going to be? I'm going to start by saying my top 3, and then I will go into why. Leave in the comment section down below your top 3, because I'm curious to see what you guys got. But my top 3 are going to be Mark Stone, as he's already got 2 goals. Sam Bennett, he's already got 1 goal. He's a gamer. I'll get into that later. And John Tavares, because my biased Leaf fans come out, and I think the Leafs are going to get by the Florida Panthers, and John Tavares will get an additional set of games in the third round. So those are my 3. Now let's get into all the players and why I like those 3 and what I think about the other cards. Now, when it does come into building these sets, we did find out by going over the numbers that the 85 and 87 are relatively the same price. They're about 21,000 a collectible. That will change based on time, how many people are on buying, stuff like that. But the worst option is 89 overall. Do not buy the 89 overall. They were like 30,000 a collectible. So you're better off to go the 87s and the 85s if you want to keep it as cheap as possible. Now remember, if you have these cards in your collection, use what you have. But if you're purchasing these cards, use the lower ones. For the NHL guys, we're going to start with the best, and we're just going to work our way down. Now, mind you, anybody can score at any given time, so don't take this list as like, it's opinion based. Don't take this list as this is like, if I got this guy and he's dead last, he has no chance. It's just opinion based. So Mark Stone already has 2, as he scored 2 in the Edmonton game last night, played 19 minutes, only got 2 shots. So he's 95. So he's a pretty safe bet to say, like, he's probably going to get 1 or 2 more goals in this series alone. So even if Edmonton wins, Mark Stone's probably going to get to a 97 plus. So he's a pretty safe bet to pick and make in this set. And 95 or 94 speed, he'll probably be a 95 speed because it goes up by half a point. But his defense, everything, the shooting on this card, everything's great already. So this card's a good one to build and the top pick. And in the playoffs so far, Mark Stone has 18 shots out of the 7 games he's played. So that's a high shooting percentage, giving him even better chances of getting to a 99. Sam Bennett is dirty, yes, but he's a gamer. He's going to get into the deep areas. He's going to grind in. He's going to get the working man's goals, and he's going to score for his team. He's got a good shot on him, and he's a gamer. So you can't rule those guys out. He's impactful to his team and to the Toronto Maple Leaf goaltending. But Sam Bennett is going to be second on this list. He's already got a goal. He's a 94 overall. He didn't get any disciplinary action for his Stolarz hit. And in 6 games combined, he has 24 shots for the Florida Panthers, giving him a huge total and making him a huge shooting threat. And when you're a huge shooting threat, you always have an opportunity to score. So I think Sam Bennett is a pretty safe bet in this series to pop a couple of more goals and at least get himself up to a 97. But with that being said, I do not think Florida gets by the Toronto Maple Leafs. JT plays big minutes for Toronto, plays big minutes on the power play, and he takes a decent amount of shots. I wouldn't say he's a Sam Bennett of shooting, but he takes a decent amount of shots. He has 21 shots in the games that he's played versus Florida and Ottawa. He had 4 shots against Florida last game they played. JT, I think, can pop a couple. He got 3 in the series versus Ottawa. So can we mark him down for 3? Possibly. He gets in the slot, gets into an area where he can bang home rebounds. So JT, I think, gets a couple, but with them beating the Florida Panthers, I like him to get more goals in the 3rd round and, beat the Carolina Hurricanes and then go on to the Stanley Cup Finals, win the Stanley Cup, yada, 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 and get a 99. JT is the top 3 pick for me. We're going to make Evander Kane the 4th pick. No, Edmonton did win and he didn't score. So Edmonton looking like they could beat Vegas, which would be huge, pushing them on to the 3rd round. I'm not going to say Edmonton's going to beat Vegas. I'm not going to say Vegas is going to beat Edmonton. That's going to be a hard series, and probably game 7 overtime will be the winner of that one. But Evander Kane did get his team 2 goals in the previous series, and he does shoot a ton, getting 17 shots in the game they have played so far in the playoffs. So Evander Kane will be the 4th pick for me, as I think he will pop a couple in this series and Edmonton might squeak by Vegas. And then we got Tom Wilson at 6'4", 94 speed is good. This Tom Wilson card's good as it stands. He did get 2 goals in the Montreal series, so I'm expecting the grinder, the dirty player, the getting into those hard areas that Tom Wilson does. Much like Sam Bennett, he is a gamer. He doesn't get the shot Sam Bennett gets, so that's why he's so far down on the list. But I think Tom Wilson will bang a couple of goals in around the crease and help help Washington get a win or 2. But Carolina, I think, is going to win the series. Tom Wilson doesn't shoot a lot. He relies on getting those dirty rebounds. Tom Wilson has 11 shots in this playoff so far, so it's kind of rough and a little risky, but he could get you a couple if you end up getting his BND. Taylor Hall is an extremely fast card with 96 speed, making him very good and usable right now. He doesn't shoot a lot. Taylor Hall is sitting at 13 shots in the playoffs so far, and he has 1 goal. So although Taylor Hall's a fast card, he's a good player, he's not getting the shot volume we need because he's not going to be just driving those dirty areas. I think he's going to be more on the outside. And I didn't really notice him too much in the Washington game we watched last night. So I'm putting Taylor Hall down on the list because he didn't really stand out to me. And yes, they may win, but I think if Carolina wins and goes deep, it's on the back of like Svechnikov and Aho. And Taylor Hall may get 1 or 2, but I can't be confident in that. Now, the fact that I don't watch a lot of West Coast hockey is definitely showing, as the last 2 players and the last 2 teams are from the West Coast, and they play each other. So one of these teams has to go on. Jamie Benn does not have a lot of goals in his last 2 games. In Jamie Benn's last 2 games alone, he had 2 shots total. That's 1 shot a game. Not very good. Jamie Benn has 1 goal in the playoffs so far, with a total of 13 shots in 7 games. Not terrible, but also not great that he has a lot of games that he's just going to put you up 1 shot. I'm not confident that he gets a lot of goals. Even if Dallas goes deep, I'm not confident he's the reason why. A Wyatt Johnson here would have been sick. Rupe Hits would have been sick. But hopefully Jamie can pop some goals if you're a Dallas fan. And then lastly, it's going to be just a player I don't trust at all. Nikolai Eers is high upside, rock bottom floor. Nikolai Eers in 2 games has 8 shots. That's unbelievable. He played 25 minutes in the double overtime, and he played 16 minutes in the game before that. Nikolai Eers didn't score in either one of those games, but it's only 2 games, and he is a huge injury risk. I don't trust that he plays all of the games, even if the Winnipeg Jets go on to the 3rd round, 4th round, they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't trust that Eers is there for all of them. The guy's going to get hurt. He's going to have issues lingering. He's not going to play all the games. I don't trust this player. That's why I have him last on the list. Now, with that being said, guys, those are only my picks on my opinion and what I think's going to happen. Use your own best judgment on how you want to do it. If there's a player on a team you're cheering for, go for that player, have fun watching them play hockey, and hopefully they get some goals for you. However, all these cards are very rough. You're hoping for a third round. That is essentially what you're picking here, is which team you think will go to the third round. So I hope this did help. I hope I'm right and not horribly wrong. And I hope Sam Bennett rolls an ankle. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And until next time, ciao, ciao.